You tuned in to the 7-Day Theory. Hard body, hard spirit.
And look, I know I had Trump on the podcast, and I'm aware.
Stop explaining that, man.
No, but let me just clarify, because I think it is important to say, like, I know how I had him on the podcast, and when I'm talking out about this, I'm not doing it to get people to be like, oh, he's a good guy or whatever like that, or trying to get anybody on my side. I understand that this is a horrific event that happened. I objectively want to talk about it. I'm not trying to win anybody over in this.
You understand? You know the difference between right and wrong.
There's a difference between right and wrong, and there's a difference between respecting and honoring the Constitution, the backbone of our country, and then completely shredding it. And this is completely shredding it. And now they're realizing that people have noticed it, and now they're trying to backtrack it. But
by the way, he's been wiping his ass with the Constitution.
Sure.
I've been on record a million times saying, when he said we should terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election, shit like that got to be disqualifying if you're running for president.
So here's a perfect example. So it's I know that there are people sounding the alarms about this. When I saw these last few weeks in Minnesota, I didn't think it was possible to happen in the United States of America. I'm being 100% serious.
To white people?
No, to anybody.
But you've seen it happen to black people.
Exactly.
Yes, to white people.
It's okay to say that.
No,
it is.
No,
but it's okay to say that.
I mean, I didn't know that this was possible to happen in the United States of America. And what I'm specifically talking about with this situation here, and not only this one, but also what we've seen ICE doing, entering homes without warrants, arresting people. It is unconstitutional. And they've done this weird thing where they have a federally administrative warrant, which is some bullshit. It doesn't even allow you to actually have access into a home. Yeah, they're trying to find ways around.
Charlemagne said in the clip, Trump been wiping his ass with the Constitution. But Andrew Schulz still had him on his podcast, still didn't ask him any hard questions, none of that, still glazed him, but now he's trying to come back around, right? I'm 7-Day, this is 7-Day Theory. What up, my people? Hard body, hard spirit. You already know. Check this. Andrew Schulz, look, in one of my biggest videos, one of my most viewed videos when I was just starting my channel, was me canceling Andrew Schulz because I was an Andrew Schulz fan. Andrew Schulz came into the culture. He if y'all don't know, Andrew Schulz is a comedian, right? But how he got on my radar was through Charlemagne, because they started a podcast called Brilliant Idiots. Great podcast. They had rappers on, all this, right? And Andrew Schulz, he was always like the white suburban kid voice, right? But that's how he got into the culture. And he really didn't, before all this Trump and right-wing shit, he was really seeming like he was of the culture and he respected the culture and all that, right? Until he interviewed Trump and started going on this right-wing phase, right? Charlemagne said it. He said he'd been wiping his ass with the Constitution. When he said that we should disqualify the Constitution to change the results of the election, right? When he was running against Biden. Yeah, he'd been doing this. But Andrew Schulz still had him on, still voted. Andrew, if y'all don't know, Andrew Schulz voted for Trump, right? Had him on his podcast. Didn't ask him any hard questions, just glazed him the whole time. Just a friendly little conversation, right? And now Andrew Schulz is trying to say, oh, now it's a problem. Oh, he didn't, now now he wants to call out Trump. He didn't know that Trump been doing this. Trump been doing all this shit, that Andrew Schulz supported Trump, but now he's trying to go against Trump. But the things he's going against, Trump had already been doing. So why was you doing it? Why was you even supporting Trump in the first place? Because in reality, he was already doing all this shit that you complaining about. He said, oh, I'm not trying to get people on my side and blah, blah. Yeah, you are. You're a grifter. You were of the culture. You respected the culture, all that. Then you started talking about black women and Kendrick Lamar and all that shit. That's when I banished Andrew Schulz in the Flagrant podcast. I didn't mess with him after that. After they made them dumbass remarks and jokes about black women and black men having to deal with black women, right? That's when that completely turned me off from them. And then after that, he started talking about Kendrick Lamar and how he would grape Kendrick Lamar and just disrespected him, really for no reason, right? Really for no reason. Even though Kendrick Lamar had a line in his song talking about don't ever let a white comedian talking about a black woman, and Andrew Schulz took that personally, even though he didn't say Andrew Schulz's name in the bar in the song, and he went on a rant disrespecting Kendrick Lamar. I don't respect it, right? That's when I totally just was like, F Andrew Schulz, right? So now he's trying to come back around now that Trump took so long after, if y'all remember, at first Trump wasn't releasing the Epstein files. And that's when Andrew Schulz started to go against Trump, when he was not releasing the Epstein files, when he was trying to play it off like, no, we don't, y'all still stuck on this. Oh, I'm not, like when he didn't release them at all. Now, he released them now. They're heavily redacted and all that, right? But at that time, Andrew Schulz was like going against Trump because of that. Now he's going against Trump because of the ICE shit and all that, talking about I'm not trying to win people over. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You went and supported this man, but all the things he was doing that you're complaining about now, he was already doing. He was already doing that shit. He'd been doing that shit, and Charlamagne said it. Now, the Doomskull podcast called him out. They said he's a horrible person for having Trump on and not having a real conversation, right? If you can't call politicians out, why are you having them on your podcast, right? Why are you having them on your platform? Here's what they said.
Another thing that the left did that was challenging it, but I don't know the solution, is they said, how dare you platform these people? I'm sure you've dealt with this.
This platforming stuff is like ridiculous, bro. This is, I mean,
it is ridiculous,
say,
but
like you're platforming the president in some cases. It's like, what are you platforming the most famous person on earth? Like quantitatively, this doesn't make any sense.
But
and also it's a hesitancy, it's a fear to actually engage with disagreement at some point.
It's a fear to engage, but why do people feel that? Because
they feel that because they can't defend their positions. That's why they don't want someone platformed, because they know that the things that they're saying will appeal to a large audience of people who will agree, and they won't agree with them, who has a niche minority
I would argue that the
position.
reason people are against this platform is because they've constantly seen so many interviews where I didn't like Andrew Schulz having Trump on the pod because I go, well, you're not gonna talk to him about Epstein. You're not gonna talk to him about these things.
He is horrible. He is a terrible interviewer, and his political takes are garbage. So yes, his platform will just be utilized.
But that's why people are allergic to platform. It'd be fine. I mean, this is why I go like I need to step away. Yeah, this is why. Yeah, of course,
literal fucking Mossad agents in the background.
And that's why it is tough. Where it's like if you're gonna. That's why I want to stay away from politicians, because I can have someone on who I disagree with politically if I can go to their face. If I can't go to their face, you. I don't want that to be my show. I want a show where I can do that.
The problem is now that we don't have the constraint or the monopoly of legacy media where you had to go on CNN. To reach an audience, you had to go on CNN or MSNBC or Fox or whatever. And there's only so few venues that you could access that many viewers. Now, because you can pick between 100 different podcasts, people can self-select and go on the one that's going to be the most friendly.
Of course.
And so there's not really a solution for that unless you decide to like nuke YouTube and go back to the old media model. It is actually a real problem, because then these people can be, if you can't buy Tim Pool, for example, you can buy the next guy, and there's 99 people after that.
Now, they have a good point. They have a very good point in that YouTube has really changed the political landscape, right? Because before YouTube and all these comedians and podcasters got popular, politicians had to go on 60 Minutes. They had to go on MSNBC, ABC, CNN, all that, right? And those journalists, it wasn't a friendly conversation. It wasn't like, hey, I'm just talking to my buddy, which is that's what it is now on these YouTubers platform when the politicians come on. But back then, they had to go on there to get their message out, and they had to be asked the hard questions. Now that YouTube is so prevalent and that these YouTubers have such a big platform, The politicians don't have to go on CNN and 60 Minutes and ABC and all that. They can go on a big YouTuber's platform and get their message out, and they don't have to be asked the hard questions. They can go on, like he said, they can go on the friendliest one, the one that's going to be most friendly to me. I can go on there and get my message out, and I won't have to be asked no hard questions at all, right? So yeah, that is a problem, because now we're in a place where now our politicians ain't even getting questioned on the shit that they say, right? And the politicians the people that run our country should be challenged, especially on the shit that comes out their mouth, that as soon as they get into office, they flip-flop and forget that and act like they never said that, and do the complete opposite. Oh, I'm going to release the Epstein files, drain the swabs, I'm going to do this and that, Trump said. And when he gets into office, he's saying a totally different thing. And Trump is not the first politician to do that, okay? So don't think that it's just a Trump thing. This is a politician thing. This is what they do, right? But Trump is just he is the president right now, and he is the one that has flip-flopped the most and has went against the Constitution the most. So yeah, it's a big it is a problem, and we can't really fix that unless we, like he said, unless we wipe out unless you just nuke YouTube and go back to the old legacy programs, to like MSN, like the news and ABC, 60 Minutes and all that. Because now these politicians just go on the friendliest podcasts that are not gonna challenge them at all. And like I said, the people that run our country need to be challenged. They need to be. They have to be. It's our job to question the people that run our country. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. 7-day. We got memberships. $1.99 a month. If you do sign up for the membership, I will shout your name out in every video. Shout out to John Paul. Keep your head up and your eyes open. I'm out.
You're now listening to the 7